Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest edition of our Tech Tuesday webinar series. My name is Kevin Marhine, and I'm the Digital Marketing Specialist here at Core Tech Services, and I will be your host today. Presenting for us is Chris Shalda, our Senior Solutions Architect in our Cloud Solutions practice. Chris will be going over an intro here into Azure Purview, but before he gets started, just a couple of quick housekeeping items. We do have the Q&A feature enabled during this webinar, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and submit those. There should be some time towards the end of today's presentation to answer any questions. Additionally, we are recording today's webinar, so if you want to go back and watch it, watch the recording, or if you're checking it out for the first time on demand, you'll be able to do so. We'll send out a link following today's presentation. With all the boring stuff out of the way, Chris, thank you very much for your time today, and I'll go ahead and hand it over to you to walk us through the presentation.
All right, great. Thank you, Kevin. Yes, welcome everybody. This seems to be a little bit of a hot topic here lately, as Azure Purview, if you weren't aware, has gone GA or generally available just recently within the past couple of weeks. So a lot of good information to share here. Just to introduce myself, so my name is Chris Shalda. I am our Senior Solutions Architect for Cloud Solutions at Core Tech Services. Kind of a mouthful, I know, but basically it means that I help a lot of our customers along their Azure journey in terms of architecture and optimizations, just kind of understanding their technical business needs, putting together solutions for them, as well as I do help on the Microsoft 365 side of the house too, helping with architecture there. So I've been at Core Tech for about 14 years now. And just recently, honestly, I've been taking a big interest in what we're calling our data practice here at Core Tech, which entails this topic for sure is a big one, as well as modern data warehouse, just modernizing your data platform in Azure, those types of things, and have a lot of great momentum there. So this is just one piece of the puzzle. We're hoping we'll be able to get some more webinars out with some more great information for you guys. So let's get started. So today what we're going to talk about is, in general, what is unified data governance and why does that matter and why should it matter to you? We'll then get into how Azure Purview can help with that, give you an overview of that, then how to get started, and then how Core Tech can help. This is going to be kind of a higher level overview. If there's some interest, let us know. If you want to go a little bit deeper, we can get another webinar going for kind of more of a hands-on demonstration of the tools. This is just to get you an idea of where Azure Purview is today, where it's going, and how it can help you with your unified data governance. Now, before we get started, this is one webinar in a kind of ongoing series. We call the Tech Tuesday webinar series. We do post these on YouTube on our channel after the webinar, so you can go check those out whenever you'd like to. So I just want to give you an idea there. Go ahead and subscribe, and you can hit the notification bell. You'll get notified when we publish new videos. All right, so in general here, right, let's start off. Data, and if you don't know it yet, it's probably your most strategic asset in this day and age. But the key is that it's also growing. There's a lot of data out there for all sorts of organizations and different industries. And how do you get your hand around that? Well, data governance is the idea there. And that's about ensuring that data that is being used in your core business operations, whether that's reports and analyses, that it's all discoverable, accurately defined, it's totally trusted, and it can be protected. Now, additionally, data governance has been increasingly important to a business because, according to a prediction from IDC, the digital data is expected to grow just overall to approximately 175 zettabytes. That's with a Z, right? That's a lot of data by 2025. So we know this, right? We know that data is just growing. We're gathering it from newer places, whether it's structured, unstructured, streaming, all these different things, different places, different sources, and it's great. Data is great. It is really driving businesses forward, but it's also getting a little out of control in terms of how do you manage that? How do you govern that? So that's what we're going to get into here. And besides that, this data governance is becoming this what you call interdisciplinary. There's a lot of different areas that you have to focus on when you're talking about governance, whether it's you're discovering that data of, what do I have, where it come from, can I even trust it, to the other side of the spectrum, which is compliance. yeah, now that I know where the data is, where it originated, and I can trust it, but how about those sensitive pieces of data that are out throughout the organization that the people that are responsible for that, let's say security and compliance officers, really don't have an idea of like, well, what is our exposure to risk? Can we ensure that that data is being used in a compliant way? How do we make sure that the sensitive data is being controlled and given only to those people that are granted access to use it? And what is required by the regulations, right, that we have to abide by? And what we're seeing is a new role kind of emerging here called a chief data officer, which is kind of taking on these different areas here, which would typically be in different parts of the organization. So just something that was kind of interesting I thought I'd bring up to just keep your eye on. There might be a newer kind of role that might be having a more of a responsibility across the board, just for but specifically around data. Now, to have successful data governance, there's a number of things here. I mean, there are many reasons why we need data governance, and it includes the need to really govern that data to maintain its quality, as well as the need to protect it. And that entails the prerequisite need to discover the data in your organization. You need to catalog it, scan it, classify the data, support its protection. And at the end of the day here, the outcomes should also be able to enable all the consumers of these data assets within your organization to easily find that data and to drive that agility. So what Microsoft has done is as they've been doing a lot lately in recent years, really just listening to customers and understanding where you're at. And they came out up with this idea of Azure Purview. It was released to preview, I think it was around latter part of last year. And it just is incredible how much time and effort and investments have been put into this product to bring it to now generally available and where it's going beyond that. It's already getting a lot of traction. So I'm really excited to see what's going on here. Excited to share that with you today. So what Azure Purview does, it enables that unified data governance. Now, when we say unified, that means a single platform, right? That's unifying what you need to do from a data governance perspective. That doesn't mean pulling all of your data into it and moving it all into Azure and getting rid of all those other data sources. No, this is talking about just a view of your data, all the metadata around all your data assets. But this is cloud-based, right? So this is to you, basically a SaaS solution that's very simple and easy to get up and running and to use. And it just brings all these great tools together and a lot of future tools that are coming down the line here. And you can really get more from your data sources with Microsoft Azure Purview. At the end of the day, it's a fully managed cloud service that serves a system for registration, a system of discovery for enterprise data sources, and provides the capability that enables any users, from analysts, data scientists, developers, to really register, discover, understand, and consume that enterprise data sources that you have. So here's a little bit of a view here of this unified approach to data governance. As you see, like the foundation of Purview is a Purview platform. And what it does is it automates that data discovery by providing that data scanning and classification for all the data assets across your entire data estate. And this can eliminate all those manual and error-prone processes that you might otherwise have to use just to figure out what is the data that we have out there. And then all those descriptions of your data assets, as well as all those relationships between the data assets, are automatically integrated into a holistic map of your data estate. And built on top of that data map, there are apps for data governance, data cataloging, data insights. And this means that all the governance apps, they'll all have a real-time understanding of all the data across your data estate. So as data changes in one area, one app, it's automatically brought into the other app, and it's all kind of integrated and synchronized together so that you have a single view here of your entire data estate. So let's get into some of these different areas. First, just reimagining the data governance in the cloud, right? So what this comes down to is you're going to manage, govern all the different data that you have, right? Whether it's operational data, transactional, analytical data, whether that's in the cloud. I mean, this is a cloud native and purpose-built service, right? And will really address all those discovery and compliance needs. Think of it as I guess, consider a PaaS service where you do not have to manage those underlying servers, let's say, in the background. Nothing to update, nothing to upgrade. It's all being handled for you. And so you can eliminate a lot of those, really the manual efforts that you might otherwise have to take to ensure some level of data governance across your organization. And so first you do is you got to establish that foundation. So you got to find all the data, right? So you're going to use automated discovery for all the data sources, right? These are on-prem data sources. They could be multi-cloud, so think Azure, it could be AWS, it could be GCP, right? And even SaaS sources. So pulling all of that data together, automatically discovering all that, and then you then classify that data, but at scale, using a lot of these kind of tools and bulk imports and a lot of options here that are built in to really specify, the sensitivity of that data, compliance, whatever, specific industry regulations, and any of that specific value to your company. And then you'll know where that data came from and where it was derived from, along with data lineage, as that can be an issue. A lot of times you might have different parts of your organization copying data from one source to another, and you have multiple copies. Well, how do you keep all that in sync if something changes upstream? Can you trust that data is actually the source of truth? This helps you to understand that and to trust the data with data lineage. Then you'll be able to maximize the business value of the data once you get to that point. So now you can take all that data, right, whether it's business technical data, and really put it into a data catalog so that the consumers can find it easily and use it. So it's going to be tagged, going to have different descriptions, terms that you're going to define. You can kind of tag with on the different data assets so that people can find what they need quickly and easily. And then at the same time, view its lineage and sensitivity. And end of the day, you'll have a curated and consistent glossary of all those terms within your own business that you define and all the definitions of those terms so that everybody can kind of consistently understand what type of data that they're looking at. Once you do all that, you'll be able to see and gain insight into really the data use across the entire state. And what this means is that really at a glance across the entire organization, all the data assets, you can see how all that data is being used, how it's being created across the organization, and be able to assess where those data assets are, how the business glossary terms are being used, what data is sensitive, how the sensitive data is being used. And this is definitely, there's a lot of investments going into this area alone, and a lot to come in this as well too. So another view here of what we've talked about is we have that data map kind of in the middle, right? Everything is kind of based off of that data map, that foundation. And that's where, you're automating the discovery of all the data, pulling it all together. And then off of that, you have the data catalog where everybody can find it and discover the data that they're looking for, and the data insights on top of that to help from a compliance perspective across your organization. Let's dig in a little bit more into the specific areas here and kind of features, let's say, of Purview. First is the data map. So that's kind of where you got to start. You got to map your data. You've got to collect it. And this is where all the automated metadata scanning happens, all the lineage. And where this comes down to play is that you can see on the screen here, each location has its own different data types, different data sources, and you're pulling it all together. You can see it from a map of the different collections of locations, as well as you can look at it in different ways of the different types of data sources all at once. And this is where also behind the scenes, they're able to classify a lot of the data here. There's now over 200 built-in custom classifiers. You can create your own custom classifiers. Think of these as like DLP rules that you would think about like on email or on files otherwise, such as just detecting sensitive information types as like government IDs, names, location data, and more. Right? So that's just built in, and there's already patterns that can identify that for you right out of the box. And then if you have additional patterns that you need for your organization, you can add those yourself. And there's support for now over just 35 data sources and growing. This is really a big area where Microsoft's putting a lot of investment. But all the major ones that you can probably think of, all the big guys out there, I mean, you're basically covered. And there's a lot of generic type data sources there too for anything that may not be specifically in that list of 35, but you can still pull it in. So next is the data catalog here. And you see here, I mean, it's using actually in the background Elasticsearch so that you're going to get results back like search suggestions and other things that are going to help you find and discover that data a lot easier, really through that semantic search. And through the business glossary terms that you've defined and you've tagged, it's going to be able to uncover the data there, and you can identify that data lineage right in this portal very easily. So great for those data scientists, business analysts, anybody who needs to access or find the data across your organization to get their job done. And then we take a step up, and this is the insights. So this is where you're going to see all sorts of reports on, what's being scanned, on what are the business glossary terms, how things are being used, how things are classified, labels that are from sensitivity labels, so that you can really get a full view and then dig deep into the data from a compliance perspective. This is where that chief data officer would be probably spending a lot of their time watching the data, seeing how it's being used, so that they have a good handle on where everything is. So to give you an idea here, a little bit more of the roles that would be kind of using these different aspects of Azure Purview. You see here first on the left side, the data producers and consumers. So people are creating data, consuming the data. They're going to be spending a lot of their time in the data catalog, data sharing. Data sharing is coming more in preview here. In the middle, data engineers and the SMEs and the subject matter experts are going to spend a lot more time on data quality and master data management. And there's some great things coming there within this product. And the data officers are going to spend a lot of their time looking at the data use governance, data privacy. A lot of that's being kind of surfaced from insights part of this. So see here, there's all sorts of different aspects of Purview, and different roles within the organization are going to care about those different things. But the idea is that this is just a unified platform that's going to take all of those data assets and get you all that metadata, pull it onto one place so that everybody can go to one place to get to all that information. So this is kind of cool here. I mean, Azure Purview, right? It is a data governance solution across clouds, as I mentioned earlier, right? Multi-cloud. So obviously, Azure, right, is first class citizen in the mix here, and everything you probably think of that has anything to do with data would be able to integrate here with Azure Purview. But what's great is that not everybody uses Azure 100%, right? Most organizations have a multi-cloud strategy or just using different parts and pieces outside of Azure. But the great thing is that these non-Azure clouds can integrate just as easily into Azure Purview. So it's a great great offering here that is going to integrate into where you are today, which might be across many clouds, not just in the Microsoft ecosystem. Now, to give you an idea of some of the features here, I'm showing you kind of what just went GA here in that first column, and then in the last column there, what's in preview, and we'll be looking to release hopefully very soon. Really, most of the Purview data map is already ready to go with automated scanning, classification, lineage. That's ready to go. So today it's all GA. The sensitivity label support is in preview, so you can use that, just not fully GA yet. Everything in the data catalog is GA. And the data insights is what's really Microsoft's a lot of investments into really honing out. What they have so far in preview is already amazing, but there's even more to come as I've been hearing. So keep your eyes out on that. And I mean, it comes down to, from a preview perspective, try it out. Right? There's probably nothing that's going to hurt you by just looking at the insights of the data on the previous side. But you can feel confident that at least the The scanning of the data sources and the classification lineage is all GA today. And really, to sum up, Azure Purview helps to answer the who, the what, the when, the how, and the where, and the why of the data present. And not only all these different data sources, but it just brings together the data closer to the user. And when your organization moves away from like a centralized to a self-service analytics, the value of understanding where this data is and how to use it, and the digital feedback loop here, it really empowers employees to make data-driven decisions that will determine success in the coming decade. And one of the key services that really unblocks this really is self-service analytics in your organization. Really can be Azure Purview. Some next steps for you. You'll see some resources that I provided here. There's some getting started with Azure Purview. I mean, it's quite literally like if you have an Azure subscription, it's 5 minutes to like get it stood up, and then to just like kick off the first scan. So really, no reason to get started on that. Not get started on that. That's something that you should get going pretty quickly on, and take advantage of this here. You can learn more about Azure Purview with Microsoft Learn. There's a pretty good track there, so I have a link there for you there too. And what I did here is that Microsoft provided some free offers with Azure Purview, kind of pre-GA, but they have extended those for a limited time. So they're extending from free scanning of on-prem SQL servers, free scanning of Power BI tenants, free data sensitivity labeling for all the existing M365 E5 customers. So take advantage of that as soon as you can there. And if you need any help getting started, I mean, yeah, give us a call, shoot us an email, right? I got their information up there. Be happy to talk you through that, help you understand where this is really going to be a benefit to your organization and how we can help you on your Azure journey, your data journey in general as you go forward. So that's all I have today. I really appreciate everybody's time. Yeah, just let us know if there's anything else that you might want to see in the future. Be happy to dig into this deeper if anybody would be interested.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. We will be going ahead and sending out a copy of today's slide deck along with the recording. So all of this information here on this nice next step slide that Chris has prepared, you'll have access to that along with all of the other information he's gone over here today, as well as the recording to watch back if you have anything. So as Chris mentioned, you're more than welcome to send us any questions you may have regarding either the presentation or if you have an interest in learning more about the topic, please feel free to reply to our email we'll be sending out with the recording. And want to thank everybody for their time today. And we can go ahead and give you back some time in your busy day and enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Thank you very much.